Get your ears wrapped around the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. All the scoop you need to know, from college basketball to the NBA and even March Madness. News of your rising stars, topics on and off the hardwood. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast.
And welcome to the GSMC Basketball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Jeff Malinoff, and with me is Mark Souza. We got some things to talk about, such as the Lakers, and more Lakers, and more Lakers, and also the rookie roundup as well for the preseason, and looking ahead into the regular season. We got some things to talk about, as well as, most importantly, Jimmy Butler and that saga that's continuing. We'll talk right into that. Jimmy Butler had some very not nice words to say to his general manager and his head coach during practice the other day, using many different swears and explicit content. Do you have more info on that, Mark?
Yeah, so Jimmy Butler and the ongoing Trade Me Please saga continues. Yesterday, he practices with the Timberwolves for the first time.
Since he asked for a trade.
Yes. So
not the first time ever.
Not the first time of all time, but the first time
in
since
a long
it's been
time
important.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler, as we know, he asked for that trade. A deal has not been struck yet by Minnesota and anyone else. So he does show up to practice yesterday. And to sum up a long story, there was drama at practice. So started off with Jimmy Butler, just very fiery. I guess he came in really hot, really passionate. He had some choice words to say to teammates. He had some choice words to say to the general manager who was present at practice. All in all, Jimmy Butler caused a scene. He also led a group of end-of-the-bench players into a scrimmage win against a lot of the regulars like Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins. Which also led to some people being hyped up about that, some players being animated and excited about that. So a very intense practice, a very heated practice. It ended with Jimmy Butler rubbing some people the wrong way. And that's the news from Minnesota Timberwolves practice. And then he follows it up with an interview with ESPN with Rachel Nichols, where he discussed the events that happened at practice, in addition to kind of his state of mind and the ongoing saga. So very, very interesting as the wheels keep turning on this Jimmy Butler.
The wheels on the Jimmy go round and round,
yeah.
round and round.
So what do you think? Do you think that he was just trying to force their hand in trading him with his antics yesterday?
I don't know what those antics were about. I think he just wanted to let him know how he let it out some steam, let it out some stress. I think that's what just the bottom line of that was. It was just him so ticked off, he just had to let it all out. It was all inside of him, and he let it out.
I can't imagine the atmosphere being any better from here on out between the team and Jimmy. We will see how it kind of plays out from here on out. But there's no trade as of now, and it doesn't seem like he will be traded before the start of the season. Do you see him being moved in the next few days now that this happened?
I have no idea, to be completely honest with you. It could be tomorrow. It could be the end of the season. It could be before the trade deadline. Who the heck knows by this point?
Yeah, it looks like Minnesota, they want to trade him, of course, but it doesn't seem like they're willing to just dump him for nothing. Like, they are willing to be a little bit patient to see if they get a deal that makes sense for them and helps them in some regard, rather than taking a decent player and a decent draft pick. So we'll see where it goes. I do expect Minnesota just to sit on this for a while, just to be patient and to see which team steps up. It might not be until the trade deadline if you think about it, because
I think that too. I think it might be trade deadline time.
That might be where they get the most value. A team looking to make a big move, a splash move to help them get over the top or maybe into the playoffs. I think that's where they could get a team in desperation mode. Maybe they get a team to give them 2 first-round picks. Maybe they get a really good player or 2 plus another first-round pick that looks attractive. Who knows, man?
It's attractive. I like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it just sounds like the Minnesota deal or the Miami offer didn't fit to what they deemed as, good enough. So, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Do you think, though, that Jimmy Butler is hurting his image or hurting his trade value by showing up to practice yesterday, rubbing people the wrong way, and just causing a scene? Or do you think it doesn't make a difference?
To the starters, yes.
No. What I'm saying is, do you think it hurts his trade value?
No, I think it only boosts it, to be honest with you.
Really? So you think that it actually would help him get a move sooner than later?
Yeah. Because now players like, okay, he really wants out. We're willing to do whatever it takes to get him out of here, type of thing.
Okay, so you're saying it from the perspective that you think Minnesota now might take a lesser deal just to get rid of him rather than hold on to him.
Maybe not a lesser deal, but look at all the options.
Sure.
And maybe make a final decision sooner rather than later, type of deal.
So Jimmy Butler did give his list of teams or destinations that he would consider. But do you think that if you're one of those teams on that list that you might take a step back? If you had an interest in him, maybe you're like, I don't know, because I don't know if we want to deal with this kind of antics and things like that.
I think any team could get a shot at him right now.
No, I know. But I mean, if you're a team that you had interest in him before, does this latest situation maybe...
I think it only wants you to get him more, to be honest.
Okay, so you wouldn't say it would make you hesitate that teams would actually be more willing to talk now?
Because it shows he's still a quality player and it can help to boost the team in any way, shape, or form.
Gotcha. So do you think that Jimmy Butler will start off the season well with the Timberwolves? What if this works out? Like, what if the Timberwolves start off hot because Jimmy Butler...
It's not going to work out.
Hold on. Follow with me here.
Okay.
Jimmy Butler... Okay, so one thing that was lost in this whole drama yesterday, that we talked about this, but not lost upon us, but maybe lost to folks out there, is that Jimmy Butler and a team of ragtag end-of-the-bench players put it on the top players from the Timberwolves, and they were led by Jimmy Butler. By all accounts, he was just dominant on the court. And, what if
there's no actual evidence of that actually happening.
Sure, but we're talking about people who actually cover the team, so we'll take their word for it. But what if he's so mad that he plays so well, and the Timberwolves actually start really hot, and then it's like, hey, maybe this isn't so bad?
I'm not looking.
Is there a chance that could happen?
Yeah, but that means the other players will have to bite their tongue and get along with him, and I don't think that's what Cat or Wiggins is going to do.
Right. Yeah.
You got to think about the other.
It could be something where he plays super good, and then his other teammates, the other starters, are like, man, we're not playing at our best because we don't really like the situation, right?
Yeah. I think they're gonna make a statement saying we won't play with this guy type of scenario. That's just my prediction, at least.
It's very interesting. Isn't it interesting, though, in an off-season in the NBA where we saw LeBron move out west and, other things...
Well, their thing was with that is there's not much fanfare. There was not the decision on ESPN for that.
Sure. So LeBron moves west. Kawhi goes from San Antonio to Toronto. And what we're talking about for the last month is Jimmy Butler. Isn't it kind of funny?
Yeah, I'm enjoying.
I get it.
I'm enjoying not hearing about LeBron and Steph all the time. It's nice to hear about someone new for a change.
Funny, because we're going to talk about LeBron and Steph in our next segment. You love it.
No, I don't. I'm sick. No, okay. I can't put my own personal opinion.
It'll be more about LeBron and the Lakers than Steph, but we will talk about that next. But to kind of keep talking about Jimmy Butler. Is he worth all this drama? Is he good enough to warrant this type of attention?
If the practice speaks true to his talent and where he can beat any team that good with a bunch of scrub players, then yeah, he should be worth it, but who knows how he plays actually on the court. On a regular season game, I mean.
Yeah. What kind of an impact player is he to another team? Like, is he
a boost, a confidence boost, that's for sure. Like a guy that they know can be a star player.
Do you see him as a franchise player? Or do you see him as a second player, like the number 2 best player on a good team?
Whatever team he goes to, then I can answer that question.
Okay. Well, what do you think? Like, can a Jimmy Butler-led team win a championship?
It's possible. Anything's possible.
With him as their best player?
Ask Kevin Garnett. Anything is possible.
Oh, gosh.
You see what I did there?
Did you just tie that in because Garnett is also did play for Minnesota at one point?
No, I just...
Oh, man. So you just like... Wow.
I just
pat yourself on the back, sir.
I know, I will. Hold on. Wait, hold on.
He's actually doing it.
Hold on.
Yep. He can't reach his back.
Well, I have a problem with my arms. I'll describe it. Did I tell you about my arms? They can't bend straight. They can't go all the way. Like, see, they're stuck here. I have undeveloped nerves in my elbows where they actually don't go all the way. I was called T-Rex in high school. I'm not even kidding. When I was playing on the basketball team, during like tryouts and stuff, they called me T-Rex and Raptor and all that stuff. During summer ball.
If dinosaurs played basketball, it'd be hard for T-Rex to actually be good.
Yeah, I could still shoot threes. I can still drain some threes. Anyways, moving on from my horrible high school experience. What were you talking about?
We were talking about if Jimmy Butler can be the guy on a championship caliber team. For me, just doesn't seem like that guy.
He can't carry a team like LeBron does, but he can help a team.
For me, he's not a Kawhi.
He
LeBron.
can help a team to a championship. That's for sure. I guarantee you, he can still help a team win a championship.
Oh yeah. The question isn't if he can't be on a championship winning team; it's if he can lead one. So, if it's a championship caliber team and he's the leader, then I could say so. Tough.
He needs talent around him. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So you're saying that you think that he will be on the opening night roster for Minnesota?
It's a strong possibility, but I'm not saying a guarantee yet.
They only have a few days. They got less than a week to move him.
We've seen some weird things happen this late before the season starts.
Yeah. Is there a team out there that hasn't been discussed that you could see making a move for him?
Probably some low budget teams that are just willing to sacrifice like their future.
It's just hard to see, like, if it's not Miami, like, I could see the Knicks, but I don't really think the Knicks have anything to offer him that...
You think Minnesota's going to, try to screw him over and take him to, Sacramento or some,
I think Minnesota will trade him. I think Minnesota will trade him to whatever team gives them the best deal, and they don't care. And now, if Jimmy Butler doesn't report to that team, or if there's a problem there, I don't think Minnesota's going to care. Yeah, exactly. They're going to... But at the same time, if you're a team... that knows he's not going to show up, why are you going to trade for him? You know? I
think you would obviously talk to him about it first.
Right. You'd get it cleared by him and his agent, right?
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be, especially a team...
Would you talk to him and his agent first before giving them an offer?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not trading for Jimmy Butler unless I know unless I know my franchise is on that preferred list of destinations. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but even if you're not on the preferred list, wouldn't you ask him?
All right, so yeah, no, absolutely. I'm not making a trade without talking to Jimmy Butler and his people directly before that trade happens. Like, I know you mentioned some teams, but let's say like if you're Atlanta or something like that, or Dallas, I'm not making a trade unless I know he wants to come here and that he's on board with the project that we currently have, because at the end of the day, I'm going to have to give up assets to get him. I'm going to have to give up picks. I might have to give up young and promising players. There's no chance I'm trading for Jimmy Butler unless I know that he's going to be on board with it.
You got a point there. Anything else to talk about Jimmy Butler?
No, so we should take a break.
Yeah, we will take a short break. When we get back, we'll talk about LeBron and Steph Curry. Shocking. And we will get right on that when we return.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines, they got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
And welcome to the GSMC Basketball Podcast. We just finished talking about the Jimmy Butler debacle that's been going on in the NBA. That's the main talk. Now we're going to go on, continue in the Western Conference, but talk about more notable teams such as the Los Angeles Lakers and the Golden State Warriors, more specifically Stephen Curry and LeBron James. What do you have on that for us?
Yeah, so last night, the Los Angeles Lakers led by LeBron.
What are they, the Ohio State University?
LeBron James in midseason form took on the Warriors yesterday. It was in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena. The Lakers get the win, 123-113. I know it's a preseason game, but do you think the Lakers were out to make a statement last night?
I think it was more of a... Well, preseason, you're not making a statement. You're just trying to see how things go.
But do you think that it meant something to the Lakers yesterday? I mean, obviously the Warriors don't care.
I don't think so. Maybe to the bench players, and maybe not to LeBron, no.
Sure.
It'll matter once it's regular season.
Speaking of LeBron, 18 minutes. You want to know what his stat line was?
18 points, 18 rebounds, 18
it's
assists.
straight fire. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, 18 minutes?
So, can I...
37 points.
I should just not tell you the numbers and just say straight fire, and then that's it.
Well, I'm trying to guess.
Say it again. I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. 18 minutes played.
Is it more than 25 points?
No.
Is it 20?
It's just a straight line that's fire. Like, it's not one category.
Is it a triple-double?
Well, let's say if he played 40 minutes, he would have easily he would have had a triple-double by halftime if he played 48 minutes.
Okay. 18 points... 10 rebounds, 6 assists.
You're close.
Really?
15 points, 10 rebounds. You got that one right.
Yeah.
And 5 assists.
Oh, I was really close.
So he played 18 minutes.
Yeah. I watched that game. I just don't remember his stats.
That's insane. I mean, obviously it's preseason and all that, but that's funny to look at, you know? The Warriors didn't play with Draymond. They didn't play with DeMarcus Cousins. And I think we're going to see DeMarcus be eased back into action. Do you see that? Do you see DeMarcus being eased back coming off that terrible injury?
Eased back coming off that terrible... Probably.
Yeah. Do you think, they'll probably take their time with him, right? Like, he might not even play a few games to start the year.
Yeah, I would definitely think so.
Okay. So, I'm going to tell you the starters for the Lakers last night. I want you to tell me if you think that this will be their starting lineup on opening night.
Okay, shoot.
LeBron James, Brandon Ingram, JaVale McGee, Rajon Rondo, and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope.
That would probably be the starters. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Lance Stevenson played 27 minutes off the bench. He might play a big factor for them.
Yeah, that's.
What about Kuzma? Kuzma was on the bench. Do you think that he'll actually end up being a starter on this team?
Sure, why not?
Yeah. So other notable performances. Are you ready for them?
Bring it.
Kevin Durant, 24 minutes, 18 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists. So pretty impressive for him, too. He did foul out in 24 minutes.
Did he?
He did.
That in a preseason game?
Preseason, you know what? Here, can we stop for a second? My criticism for preseason NBA basketball is the whistle. They blow the whistle. There were 65 fouls called in that game last night. It's ridiculous. We're seeing players foul out in 25 minutes, in 20 minutes. Yeah. So Durant fouls out. I'm sure he's fine with it. Steph Curry, 26 minutes, 23 points, 3 boards and 5 assists. Klay Thompson, 20, 5 and 3. Are you worried at all about the Warriors? I know we've talked about this a couple times. Are they still going to win unless they suffer an injury or something like that?
I think they're fine.
Yeah.
It's just a weak area.
It will take an act of God, in my opinion.
Yeah, if they lose, I will eat my shoe.
Really?
No. I'll do something.
Did you see my ears perk up when you said that? No, they're covered
I can't
by
see
headphones.
your ears because you have headphones on.
I think my headphone flew off my head.
No, they didn't. You don't have like powerful ears. You're not a superhero.
Are the Lakers for real?
They're a top 5 seed. That's the best I'm gonna say.
Where did you have them in your?
I think I've had them 4 or 3.
I have them 4. Can a team that's structured this way beat the Warriors? And when I say structured this way, the Lakers have like a lack of outside scoring.
I wouldn't say they would win a series, but they could win a couple games.
Do you think that this style, though, that they're looking to play, where it's a lot of run and gun, but a lot of 2-point attempts, a lot of getting to the line, do you think that's the best strategy to try and win in today's NBA, or do you think that you just need to be another team like the Warriors or the Rockets where your shooters outside take advantage of the 3-point shot, be efficient there? What do you think about that?
This new NBA is all about the outside shot, so you just, besides LeBron, you just need outside shooters to keep up with Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, but there are no guys that can keep up with those 3 guys on the outside the 3 line, so it's just, they're just going to throw threes at you, and you're not be able to stop them.
Yeah, and
Am I wrong?
No, I agree. The question is you have LeBron, and you're not surrounding him with shooters, which I find as a problem. It doesn't matter if it's today's NBA, yesterday's NBA, or tomorrow's NBA. LeBron James is a point guard. Whether he plays a forward, whatever you want to call him, he needs the ball in his hands. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely.
So what you want is him to be a playmaker, whether he scores or dishes, but I kind of feel like I would assemble a roster where I'd have shooters around him, like a guy like J.J. Redick. Give me J.J. Redick and LeBron on the court at the same time. I'll tell J.J. to go sit in the corner, go stand outside the arc.
You're on timeout.
No. But I mean, you know what I mean, though? Like, go sit in the corner,
I know what you're saying.
Stay outside the 3, and just stand there and wait, and I'll get you the ball, and you'll score.
That makes sense. I can see that happening.
So with this roster that they've compiled with Rajon Rondo, Lonzo Ball, Lance Stevenson, there's some holes there in terms of shooting. Even Michael Beasley, like, these guys can score, but can they score from the outside? It puts a lot of pressure on guys like Caldwell Pope, Josh Hart, and these other players, these other guards. They're going to have to step up. Maybe a guy like Kuzma ends up being a big 3-point shooter for them. He has the ability. He's young. He can shoot the basketball a little bit. Maybe we'll see him up his attempts and maybe his efficiency from the outside. But
it's all possible.
I wanted to talk to you about this. The Lakers and the Celtics right now, with the focus on the Lakers in this regard, but the Lakers and the Celtics right now are the most betted on teams to win the NBA title in Vegas. That's according.
You don't want to bet on the Warriors because it's like, what, 2-1?
Yeah, even that, I don't even know if they're that. I think their odds might even be better than that, so it'd be a worse payout. But Jeff Stoneback, the MGM Sportsbook director, he stated that most of the action that they're getting on NBA, on championship bets, is for the Lakers and the Celtics. The Celtics are at 5-1. The Lakers are at 12-1. Do you think that those odds are real? Like, do you think that those odds make sense there?
Yeah, I think just because the Warriors are so high up there, you can't give all those guys that high of a rating or high of an odds.
The Lakers, yeah, absolutely. The Lakers are one of the most popular teams in the NBA. Do you think that that 12-1 is actually not. Do you think that line's been betted on too much, where they should probably be more like a 20-1? But because so many people bet on them, it keeps getting worse. Like it might be 11-1 tomorrow.
Maybe that's a judgment call, I would say. I'm not entirely sure.
It's going to be interesting when the games actually start and they count to see how good this Lakers team can be and will be from day one. Of course, there's a lot of new faces. There's a lot of young players there too that still haven't really developed their full NBA game. How many games do you need to see from them in the regular season to really know what kind of team they have?
Give me like 3 weeks.
So maybe like 10 games?
Yeah.
12 games?
Yeah. That's against a good handful of teams in the NBA. So that's about a third of the NBA. So that's a good assumption.
I have a question for you.
Shoot.
We just talked about Jimmy Butler.
Yeah. Where are you going
Now,
with this?
hold on. I don't want you to think about long term. Don't think about 2 years from now. Think about just what I'm going to ask you. If the Lakers at the trade deadline are sitting at, let's say, 8th place, or they're 7th place, but their playoff berth might be in jeopardy. Maybe they need to get better to have a realistic chance of knocking off the Warriors, or at least getting to the Western Conference Finals. Do you think that they would make a move to rent Jimmy Butler for the second half of the season and give up some of their young assets? Maybe like Brandon Ingram.
Giving up a young ass.
Maybe an Ingram or Alonzo Ball.
That is a big risk you're taking.
Right, but we're talking about LA, and we're talking about, like, the Lakers have to make the playoffs, right? So if they're in 8th place, they would have to make a desperate move. Would you agree with that? Or like 9th place?
Yeah, I would, but that's still a huge, like, risking your future like that. That's not smart.
But their future now is LeBron.
But for 4 years, like, Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball are probably there for a lot longer than 4 years.
Possibly. Yeah, it's possible.
It's Kim possible.
The thing is,
I got you. You got that. I love you got that.
The thing is, though, is that yes, I see what you're saying. You don't want to sacrifice your future for the now, but when you're the Los Angeles Lakers, when you're that brand, it makes it more interesting, right? Like, if you're a young team, you're not doing that. Like, if you're a young team, but even though the Lakers are quote-unquote a young team, their best player is in his mid-30s.
True.
You have a window of, 2 years, would you say, with LeBron? 2 or 3 years to win a championship? Because in 4 years, he's going to be 37 years old. Like,
he's still going to be at a I feel like he's not going to slow down for a long time.
No, I disagree.
Really?
I give LeBron 1 to 2 more years at this era.
They signed him to a 4-year deal.
Sure, but the 3rd and 4th year, do you think he's going to be today's LeBron or yesterday's?
That's going to be like a swan song kind of thing?
Do you think that at age 37 he will be a MVP candidate?
I don't know. We've never seen a guy like him before.
I agree with that, but I would say that is still a long shot, because guys are younger than him, like Curry, Harden, Kyrie's 26. Like, Kyrie Irving's 26 years old. He could be an MVP candidate. In 4 years, he's going to be 3 years younger than where LeBron is now. That's what I'm saying. So
you're making sense. You're making points.
It's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't really care to talk about Jimmy Butler too much more, but I wonder if that would be a situation, because if they're not starting out the gates as well as they want, and it takes them, let's say it takes them 25 to 30 games before they really start to mesh as a team. Who knows what their record will be? I'm sure it'll be good. I still think they're going to finish in the top 4. It is interesting to think about. But any last words on the Lakers and Warriors preseason game, or the Lakers season in general?
No, that's about it. We'll see how they do in what I said in the next 10 games. We'll see from there.
Yeah. Cool. So let's go ahead and take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll do a preseason roundup. There was a lot of preseason action that happened in the NBA last night. We'll take a look at some of the rookies, see how they're progressing as we inch closer and closer to that opening night in the NBA. It seems like it's been taking a long time for some reason. I don't know. The offseason feels like it's dragged on, would you say? Maybe it's this Jimmy Butler stuff that just keeps dragging on.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. But we will talk more about this when we get back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
And welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast. We've talked about Jimmy Butler. We've talked about LeBron James. We've talked about the Lakers. We've talked about the Warriors. Now we're going to go on to some preseason rookie look-ats and some other preseason games. Because a lot has happened in the previous couple days with the preseason, hasn't it?
Yes, absolutely. But did you want to talk, before we jump into this, did you want to talk about Jimmer?
Ow. I try to jump into it.
Did you want to talk about Jimmer?
I would love to talk about Jimmer.
Let's talk about Jimmer.
Oh, now you want to talk about Jimmer.
We'll talk a little bit about Jimmer.
A little inside
We're not talking 15 minutes about Jimmer.
Okay, fine. Okay, let's
but
go on.
I know that you're so excited about his stat line the other night.
I was happy for him because
he shot the ball 40 times.
He got 41 points.
That's not good.
I don't care. 41 points against any team is good.
Is it?
Especially an NBA team, and he's playing with... Look what the teammates he was playing with. Who else was going to shoot the ball?
I mean, that's true. Their team shot 81 times, and he took 41. He literally took over 50%.
They kept passing him the ball, and they're basically telling him to shoot it. So what else is he going to do?
Shoot it.
Exactly.
But you try to tell me that he had an impressive preseason game. That's not impressive to me.
41 points?
He made 16 out of 40 and was 4 for 11
Granted,
from 3.
it was terrible, like average-wise, but he still got 41 points against the Houston Rockets.
If I played an NBA game and I scored 20 points on 20 shots, would that be good? Would that be a good game?
Against the Rockets. Against the second-best team in the NBA.
Okay, well, I disagree that he had a... Yes, it was notable in the fact that he played against a NBA team, and he could be back in the NBA, but when you try to say that he had a good game, he played 48 minutes. He did not come off the court. These numbers are funny.
Who else was on that team? Do you name one other guy on that team?
Luis Scola. Former NBA player for the Houston Rockets.
How many minutes did he play?
40.
How many points did he score?
18.
How many?
12.
How many? How many people did he kill?
None.
Okay. Just testing you. Anyways, what? Who cares?
Do you have any other questions for me that I can answer for you that you'll be surprised that I can answer?
How many?
12.
I was going to ask how many kids do you have? Do you really have 12 kids?
I have none that I know of.
Wow, I hope your wife doesn't listen to this.
Let's move on.
Anyway.
Speaking of kids, DeAndre Ayton.
Okay. I didn't know where you were going to go with that, but okay, sure, let's go there.
Speaking of kids, DeAndre Ayton and his Phoenix Suns, they took on the Portland The Blazers. The Portland Blazers.
The Blazers?
They took on Portland, and you know what happened? It wasn't much of a game. The Blazers won 116-83. You want to know how DeAndre Ayton performed? Say you do. Say you do.
Sure.
15 minutes, played 9 points, 4 rebounds, 3 of 4 shooting. So a little bit of a subdued game for the rookie.
Jimmer Fredette played better than DeAndre Ayton, the first overall
I don't
pick.
think that's true.
I don't think it's true either. I'm just trying to get you riled up.
Yeah, so DeAndre Ayton, he will, of course, start his NBA regular season this week. As he rounds up his preseason, we've seen some good moments. We've seen some good numbers from him. But, we will see how it goes for him. For Portland, they had, let's see, Stauskas got to play. Nick Stauskas, there's another one.
Okay, name the team he was drafted by.
I don't want to.
I know who it is because we live in the area who drafted him, and it was probably what would you call that one of the worst draft picks in the last couple of years?
It was. Unfortunately, it wasn't the worst Kings draft pick in the last couple of years, but it was a terrible.
Who was
pick.
the worst?
Thomas Robinson.
That was like 10 years ago.
No, it was like 5 years ago, and they cut him.
Wait, was that really?
They cut him halfway through his rookie season.
It felt like it was 100 years ago. What year? What year was
Feels
it?
Feels like it's been 100 years since they've
2012?
been good. Something like that.
Ugh.
Anyways,
and I feel bad for Kings fans, man. Let's not get into this. We'll do a whole segment of Kings fans in another day.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, that's their life in a nutshell. Anyways, continue.
Yes. So the Chicago Bulls, they hosted the Indiana Pacers. They won 104-89. Victor Oladipo for the Pacers, 12 points, 4 boards, 4 assists as they fall to the Bulls. Over on the Bulls side, Wendell Carter Jr., the rookie forward, he played 17 minutes and he did not do much. 2 points on 1 of 6, 5 rebounds, no assists. So kind of a maybe a performance that goes begging a little bit for the young player in Wendell Carter Jr. The Bulls, of course.
Say that name 3 times fast.
Wendell Carter Jr.
You couldn't even say it a third time. I said
you
said
3 times fast.
You said Wendell Carter Jr., and you stopped talking.
I thought that
was twice.
Doesn't 3 times fast mean
Wendell
like
Carter Jr.,
times
Wendell
3?
Wendell Carter Jr. What? You said it twice.
I know, but 3 times fast, does that mean you have to say it 3 times
Yes.
really fast? Or does that mean you have to say it 3 times faster than normal?
3 times,
Wendell Carter Jr.
fast.
Okay. Regardless, so we'll see if Wendell Carter Jr. can have a good start to his NBA season. Zach LaVine had 22 points on 28 minutes.
Another player the Kings almost paid way too much for.
So the Bulls, they keep him. Justin Holiday had 22 points on 30 minutes. So moving on, the Jimmy Butler-less Miami Heat, I should say. They win 140-128.
Why do you have to say that? They were already Jimmy Butler-less.
Yeah, but, they were like the team that was going to get him.
Supposedly.
So the Pelicans, they start the post-DeMarcus Cousins era. They are now 0-4 in preseason. Not that matters because it only matters when the season starts. But Julius Randle, 23 points on 30 minutes, 6 boards, 4 assists. Nice game for him as he transitions from LA to New Orleans and tries to fill in the gap left by Boogie Cousins. Anthony Davis, of course, did not play in this game as he sits out waiting for the real games to start. Elfrid Payton, 27 minutes, had 17 points, a rebound, 8 assists. It's interesting to see what Elfrid Payton will be able to do this year now that he has Anthony Davis. It might be a nice boost for him in his young career. Over on the Miami side, we saw Richardson, of course, a player who's been linked with Minnesota. 25 points in 29 minutes. Bam Adebayo, another player linked with Minnesota, 26 points and 12 rebounds. So those guys chip in on this preseason game with 51 points, 16 boards, and 6 assists. Nice to see them play. It's also makes sense as to why Minnesota might covet those players in a trade. Of course, Miami did not play Dragic or Whiteside or Justice Winslow as those men prepare for the regular season. Did you see Trae Young draining that three-pointer to win the game last night?
It was a nice shot. A very nice shot.
Yeah, so the Hawks beat the Spurs 130 to 127. Trae Young, like we mentioned, he had the notable play in that game as he scores the game-winning three from way downtown. Some people compared him in college to Steph Curry. That was a very Steph Curry-like shot, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, but it's really not fair to compare like a two-time NBA MVP before he even reached the NBA.
Sure.
It's unfair expectations. Even though if he can live up
small
to them,
stature, deep shooter, like it just that everybody's gonna be compared to Steph Curry nowadays when they're that mold of a player.
It's unfortunate for them because that's too much.
It's a lot of hype.
Yeah, it's too much. It's overwhelming.
He finishes with a nice game. So 22 points in 31 minutes, 3 boards, 7 assists, 8 of 18 shooting, 4 of 8 from 3. So Trae Young, do you think that he's going to have a good NBA career? Has he impressed you so far?
That one play impressed me. He's been kind of lackluster. So he hasn't really shined in the stat column, I would say. But overall, I would say he'd be a solid player for the Hawks, no doubt about it.
And of course, this was the Spurs' first contest after DeJounte Murray going down for the season with a torn ACL. Do you think that loss is big for the Spurs? Like, did you see?
It's gonna hurt, no doubt about it.
Do you see them having no chance at playoffs now?
Yeah.
DeRozan, Paul Gasol, Rudy Gay, Dante Cunningham, Marcus Aldridge, of course. Is this a team that you think is Murray good enough, or big enough of a loss to move that conversation to playoff team, possible playoff team, to not playoff team?
Possible playoff team.
It is tough. They lose Tony Parker to free agency. They lose DeJounte Murray to an ACL injury. So there will be, of course, they have Patty Mills. Derek White is also on the roster. We'll see if those two guys will be the point guards moving forward, or if they'll add a player, possibly through a trade or something like that. It will be interesting to see. Toronto, they defeated the Nets 118 to 91. We saw Kawhi play 31 minutes. He only had 11 points, 3 of 12 shooting, so not a great shooting game for him. 7 boards, 7 assists for Kawhi. Serge Ibaka at 13 points. This is an interesting team in Toronto. I think they have a chance to represent the East. For my money, it's a 3-team race. Toronto, Philly, Boston. Those are the 3 teams to look for. Any other team in the East that you think could make some noise? Milwaukee, maybe?
That's the only team I can think of.
Yeah, if Giannis continues.
Greek Freak is the only hope they have, but he is a dominant player.
He is. So the Nets, their season, they look like they're going to have another tough season this year as they try to recover from that trade with Boston, which saw them give up a lot of future assets, which have been hurting them lately. D'Angelo Russell, 18 points, 6 boards, 2 assists. Decent game, 27 minutes for him. Yeah, and let's see. Let's go look at the Grizzlies and Magic. We saw Jaren Jackson Jr., 10 points off the bench in 20 minutes, 5 boards and an assist. His season will be interesting to look for as the Grizzlies search for someone to help Marc Gasol and Mike Conley kind of pick up the slack there, as that team has been kind of flailing for a couple years now. Chandler Parsons is healthy. We'll see for how long. He played 19 minutes. He had 4 points. So not really a breakout game for him at all. As for the Magic, taking a look at Jonathan Isaac, who's in his big second season here. Chance for him to take his game to the next level. He had 15 points in 17 minutes, so a nice game from him. Aaron Gordon, of course, 15 points as well. We will see. We'll see how the Magic and the Grizzlies, their young centers, work out. Jaren Jackson, of course, from Memphis. Mo Bamba did not play in this game, but he is an interesting player. We will see what kind of impact he has for the Orlando Magic. And the last game from last night was the Washington played Detroit. Detroit did lose this game 102-97. So Washington takes the win 102-97. As we check the box score here, we saw John Wall, great game, 32 points in 32 minutes. 5 rebounds, 9 assists.
That's a point a minute.
It is. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
Over on the other side, Blake Griffin, 16 points. Andre Drummond had 17 points. We'll be following these teams as one of these teams will look to break through that in the East and see if they can make some noise, get in the playoffs first, and then make some noise. But do you have anything that you want to talk about from the preseason games last night?
Not that I can think of, but we are going to take a short break. When we get back, we'll take our final segment. Anything else we missed in the NBA news that we want to talk about, or any basketball news we want to talk about, we will discuss. And we'll see you right after this.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
And welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast. We've talked about Jimmy Butler's saga. We talked about LeBron, Stephen Curry, the preseason roundup. Now we're talking about anything else we want to talk about in the world of basketball. Is there anything on your mind right now?
Yeah, we have breaking news.
Ooh, I like news that breaks.
Timberwolves practice for today has been canceled.
Do you think the reason is because of what happened last practice with Jimmy Butler cursing out players and
what
teammates?
Do you think?
Yes. Is that a good sign or a bad sign, though?
It's a sign.
What kind of sign? Is it a stop sign or is it a go sign?
I mean, I don't really know what to say.
Well, you got to know or else you're going to get in a car accident. Pick one.
I don't think it's a good sign or a bad sign. I just think it's funny because it is what it is. They had issues yesterday. I don't really know why they'd cancel it other than they don't want another Jimmy Butler explosion. But if they didn't want that, wouldn't they just suspend him?
Jimmy Butler explosion.
Wouldn't they just suspend him and keep you don't want to punish the rest of the team if you're upset with one guy?
I don't think it's just him.
Okay.
I think because he's hyped up the other players, it was a whole mutiny type of thing going on.
Yeah. So we will see how that works out. If they'll have other practices canceled, it's just interesting a week before.
Do you think a fight's going to break out between Cat, Wiggins, and Butler? Like Cat and Wiggins versus Butler?
I don't think it'll get too... I don't think it'll be more than words.
Well, he's talking a lot of garbage. I would get angry, too, if I was Cat.
Yeah.
Called him soft. That was a little harsh.
Here's an interesting tidbit.
Please enlighten me.
Joel Embiid has been signed by Under Armour, which makes him the richest center in the NBA in terms of endorsements, although the deal has not been disclosed.
Good for him. He's a cool guy, funny guy. I like his Twitter.
He is amazing on Twitter. That guy is even if you don't like basketball, that guy is wildly entertaining.
He's funny as all heck.
Yeah. And now that he's healthy, he's a fun guy. The Sixers are lucky with him. I think that
They got lucky with the whole process thing to get him.
if he can stay healthy, I mean, that's like a fun guy to build your franchise around just because he's good and he seems to be super personable. So good with the fans, good for the franchise moving forward. And of course, I think that the Sixers will be a more attractive option to put on primetime basketball games, those Christmas games and things like that because of his personality.
Christmas tree, oh, Christmas tree. I don't know the rest of the song.
So anyways, thank you. Did I have to pay for that or?
Yeah.
Oh.
$20.
Yeah, send me that request on Venmo.
Okay. What's your Venmo?
Former coach, in sad news, former coach Tex Winter, who pioneered the triangle offense. He passes away at the age of 96.
That's a full life, though.
He passes away in Manhattan, Kansas. He first coached at Kansas State, but man, he has a lasting legacy in the NBA. R.I.P. to him. My thoughts go out to him and his family.
Me too.
But man,
don't leave me out of that.
96 years old. That's a long life to live. He left his mark.
It's a very thankful life to live. Not a lot of people live up to that age just because of so many diseases and stuff that's in this world. But yeah, he was a visionary when it came to he basically came up with the offense that led to multiple dynasties in the NBA.
Multiple dynasties, like you mentioned. I mean, we're talking about the Bulls, the Lakers, even the Spurs. They can all credit Tex Winter to being a big piece of their success. Guys like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, their words in the last 2 days about him have been incredible. Both men have talked about how they wouldn't have gone to the lengths that they have gone to without him and his contribution to those coaching staffs. So that's really incredible. That's a great... You know what also, too, that I wanted to mention is Steve Kerr talked about how special of a coach Tex Winter was. And Steve Kerr, let's think about this for a minute. He played on the Bulls dynasty, the Spurs dynasty, and he's leading a dynasty of his own as coach of the Warriors. And he credits this man as being that important to the NBA.
It's huge. It's absolutely humongous of the amount of influence this man has in the league.
Yeah. And even Shaquille O'Neal credited Tex Winter for a big part of his success. I mean, it's not just these teams here, Jeff. It's these players. Like, we're talking about 3, 4, 5 of the top players ever, like Jordan, Kobe, Shaq. I mean, these guys are all saying how much he meant to their careers and their success as individuals and as teams. So hats off to Tex Winter. Luke Walton, another coach who talked about it. It's kind of funny because, like, if you think about it, if we were to lay this out, Tex Winter, his like tree of influence in the NBA goes pretty far.
Oh, absolutely, it does. It goes years and years and years down in the past and to now. It's still affected. And
he is a member of the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Oh, so. Without question, he should have been already. So yeah.
Yeah. So
it shouldn't have been a question in any reason.
Yeah. Also, did you hear about the story about a group of people in Quebec that want to bring an NBA team to Montreal?
I'm down.
The league has stated that they don't have any plans to expand at this time, but it is a business group that is seeking an expansion team in Montreal. What do you think about that? You think that...
okay, I like teams outside of the United States. I like that kind of thing. It really grows the league, grows... It really just is a positive for the NBA.
Do you think that if the NBA adds an expansion team, that Seattle would be the first destination, though?
Not for no. I think they're hated over there. I don't think they're willing to.
Hated by who?
Everyone in Seattle?
No, the Sonics were not. They were a supported team.
No. I meant like when they left, the NBA is now hated over there. That's what I meant.
Well, I mean, Seattle is the favorite to land the next NBA expansion team. That's what people say because they do have a group.
I would be more interested in the Montreal team. They go back to an old place.
I don't know. Seattle kind of got a raw deal there. When that team got taken to Oklahoma City, they got a raw deal.
Yeah, they have the Seahawks, so I think they're fine. Montreal has nothing. They have the Canadians and NHL. They deserve more teams over there.
Yeah, we'll see. Montreal's an interesting place. I could see it happening, but for my money, I'm going to say that they are well behind Seattle when it comes to...
I would push for a team in Montreal. Or in Canada in general. They deserve another one over there. I know their taxes are extremely high. They got
the Grizzlies taken away, so...
Well, that was tax reasons. I'm not sure if Montreal's the same because it's a French territory.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how the taxes work in Montreal compared to Vancouver.
Probably pretty high in Canada in general. But yeah. Did you see the alley-oop from Ball to LeBron yesterday?
Where LeBron literally just caught it and just slammed it down.
Sorry, I meant the LeBron to Lonzo alley-oop. I'm sorry.
That one was unexpected.
I stated that incorrectly.
That was a pleasantly unexpected one.
Did you see Lonzo's first three-point attempt?
The horrible air ball. I laughed for a good 25 minutes.
He had a pretty good game.
I timed it. It was 25 minutes.
Very interesting. Did you see LeBron shooting that three from the spot where Steph Curry shot?
And he made it?
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
That was definitely...
What do you think? I was laughing for 25 extra minutes after that.
That's a long time to laugh over something like that.
Well, because all the hype that his dad brought about him, and then that happens, it was satisfying.
Any other thing that you want to talk about in the world of basketball?
I'm good. How about you?
We are done here.
All right. We will see you next Tuesday for the GSMC Basketball Podcast. That is the day the season begins, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, finally.
So we actually have stuff to talk. We have more interesting stuff to talk about. We will see you on Tuesday for the beginning of the NBA season. 82 games, right?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know why I did not know that for a second.
82.
82 beautiful basketball games, and we will see you on Tuesday.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.